I'd like to call the meeting of the Curriculum and Policy Committee of the Portland Board of Public Education to order. It is 11th of June at 5:10 p.m. and we're meeting online in Zoom. I'm Julianne Opperman, chair of the committee, and I'm joined by committee member Yusra Ali, board chair Lentz, Dr. Warren, executive director, strategy staff liaison to the committee, and Dr. Ahmed, assistant superintendent of secondary schools. Thank you all for joining on this. The very last committee meeting of the 24-25 school year for anybody, not just us, but anybody. There's one board meeting left and it's on to the new year. The agenda is today is to acknowledge and comment on the curriculum policy work we did this past year, and then bring to light some initiatives that we could do in future work. And I mean, we've heard a lot. I mean, I went over all the various agendas to see what we did and all, or tried to do and accomplish. And it was a lot. And Sarah, really, Dr. Warren, honest to gosh, you pulled us through. I can't thank you enough. I mean, you found what we needed to do in some of the topics involving incredible, intense search and research, and so very much appreciated. And Dr. Ahmed, I appreciate your work and that of Dr. Duina, because guiding us through what is going on. And it was a good balance, I think, this year with the academics and stuff. So we covered in this year these particular points of the strategic plan. 1.1, which is equity, the development and implement of a plan to advance staff mindsets, cultural humility, and supports equitable outcomes and experiences for our students and families. We did under academics, 2.1 and 2.2 with English language arts, K5 and K8, to improve the cognitive engagement and build deep knowledge of the curricula among the teachers and building systems to respond to students' needs. Again, under academics, 2.4, the high school redesign. We were in with that. 2.5, special ed, developing the capacity to provide more effective instruction to students. And we had special meeting help of the group that was analyzing our needs. And then 3.1, which is the whole student, where we increase the capacity of school to create and implement whole school systems, SEL curriculum and relationships that promote a joyful, supportive, and safe culture. And frankly, that was a lot. I mean, the highlights involved, well, I have to acknowledge Mina Fitzgerald, the board representative, student board representative, who brought together the idea of and proposed a policy and a curriculum that on civics education, which I have touched base with a couple of teachers since then, and they are very excited to start figuring out how to do that at the high school. I think this past year of all of the various and sundry governmental issues has brought that to light, and I think that's incredibly important. Anyway, with that, anything in particular of all of that, Isra or Dr. Ahmed or Dr. Warren or Sarah Lentz, Chair Lentz, that you want to highlight? You think we
No, I would just say that I think that we moved a fair bit of policy through this committee, both this year and the previous year. Some to just kind of get back in the swing of getting policies updated the way that they should be and looked at and current. And then this year, some bigger policies, including the cell phone policy. So I just am appreciative of your leadership, board member Opperman, and this committee for really taking some bigger policies on, and I am excited for this next year to see kind of like what the vision of this committee could be.
Well, I think it would be interesting because I think if we think of, curriculum and policy is so huge that, and looking at what in the future things under academics and all, the policy issues, but also the content issues that are coming up. It's going to be a lot coming up in the next year if we want to make headway and all. So, anyway, so I think, is there any other thoughts on this? I don't. For next year, Dr. Warren, what would you like us to do better?
Well, actually, I wanted to just celebrate. I mean, there's been a lot of great work done by the committee and the board this year, but I think for me, perhaps one of the most important was the updating of our calendar to be more inclusive of our Muslim and Jewish community members. So I think of all the ones we did this year, I think that's the one I'll take away that I think was especially meaningful for me. For next year, I think we have a lot to do. And I know for me personally that's one of my priorities over the summer is to really spend time just digging into various policies because what I'm realizing is that as we're trying to do the work of the district, I feel like we're bumping into some policies sometimes that feel like they're not quite up to speed with where we are now in terms of implementation of our work. I can't even think of one off the top of my head right now.
Many.
There are a number where these kinds of things just keep coming up where I feel like, that doesn't quite capture what we need to know from the board in terms of what our guidance and directives are. Around various issues. So I really plan to dig in and spend a lot of time just sort of rereading policies and thinking about, what I could maybe help bring to you all as places where we might want to sort of lean in a little harder.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about policy is we can talk in this committee and on the board and make these, but if whatever we make doesn't work and doesn't work for you as the people who implement it at all levels. It's
actually, I just thought of an example of that. I don't think that we have a solid policy around research, right? And we've had people that want to do research or that where we want to have research done in our schools. And I think we probably need to be a little more explicit about how that works and where the guardrails are around that because it's so important that we protect students and staff in that process and families. So that's just one thing that's come up for me in the last couple of months where I thought maybe we could do a little more on the policy front on that.
I mean, that's true. I mean, there are strict rules about how you gather information, what information you gather, how you share it. And how and how it's published, even just within our own district. So yeah, that is a big one. Not one that shows up that people will see and be flashing like cell phone stuff, but really, really thorough and stuff. Member Ali, do you have any thoughts? Are you back yet? Maybe not. Not yet. Oh, I'm sorry. Chair Lenz, please.
No, that's okay. I know. I just thought I'd, stay in order. Two things that I think will be coming up, and it would be awesome if this committee could take them on in August would be I know that we have talked a little bit about potentially shifting what the committee structure looks like and putting some, different structure around that. So policy BDE in August. I also know that at one point this year we had flagged a policy that had some kind of racial language in it that could be adjusted or changed in terms of just some negative connotations to some words around weapons. So, I think I would love if we could do like a combination of, meatier things, but then also just kind of like auditing policies for like old language. I think we are doing a really good job updating things to say Portland School Board instead of committee, making things gender neutral. Like, I think that there are practices that we have that we can continue to do as we move through policies as well.
I have a list somewhere. I went through all of the places, I read all of them at one point to find all the ones that needed to be this changed or that changed and all. So I don't know if did I share that with you, Dr. Warren? I may not have. I'll find it again. It was, I just went down and said, this one looks odd, and this one, things that were had to be very obvious, not something that I would recognize the implementation on. I'm looking at next year as far as the math curriculum is supposed to be coming online, if that's going to work, and to see what's going on in the literacy piece, and also looking at our academic situation in, again, the middle schools, to make sure they are providing what the students need for success, but also in the high school that students have more access, and more support to stretch themselves. And because I think we often focus on special needs for kids who have extreme problems, but there are students that need support that are not identified, but need some kind of academic support so that they can maximize their own individual abilities. And it's not gifted and talented per se, but that would be, there are students that could be, quote, gifted that we haven't discovered just because of some support that they don't have at this point, whether it's in mathematics. One I'm particularly thinking of is mathematics. Beefing up middle school may help that, So that's, again, on that aspect, as far as thinking about the curriculum. And I wonder how we'd be doing with the schools. When do we have information back on our requests to the state for how schools would work? So for high school future type things. So that should be coming up the end of summer. Should we hear something at all?
I think we haven't. I'm not sure when we hear back on the major construction proposal. The consolidated high school proposal, they extended the deadline on that, but our team is working pretty intensively on that proposal right now. But I'm not completely sure what the timeline is. Chair Lenz, do you know when we hear back on the major construction?
In my brain, so don't quote me, but I believe the earliest we would have heard back, it was August. Mm-hmm. It's like late summer. But not soon.
Yeah. Well, these are all kinds of things that I think we need to think about. Does anyone else have anything to say? Dr. Ahmed, Member Ali? I don't want to drag on the discussion too long, because I think it needs to be a broader discussion. We have a retreat coming up where some of the ideas might come forward. But anything, Dr. Ahmed, do you have a thought that you would like to share?
I really appreciate how engaging the topics in this committee were, and from what Dr. Warren mentioned about having the Jewish and the Muslim holidays to be part of this, and how that showed that more inclusive kind of a community that we all aspire to have. So that meant a lot for many community members. And the other day, actually, the superintendent joined the Eid celebration, and it was amazing to hear the response or how he was received, and how the people appreciated for having the Eid on the calendar. And same goes to the Jewish community members. I've seen some students who were so excited about the recognition, and so it is. I'm grateful as a community member, and someone who has been in the district for a long time and always wanted to have that perfect community where all of us can have this inclusive kind of community. So I'm appreciative to the work that's been done here. Also, a platform where we share what is going on in the schools, whether it is the academics or whether it is talking about the cell phones and the climate and the culture of the school. So this was a way to just the community to know about what's going on, as well as also to keep each other accountable. So I appreciate the platform as well. So I'm thankful to your leadership and Dr. Warren's leadership. Thank you. And Yusra and Ali and board chair Lance and all of you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. You have been so open and kind in every time you present a thought, and that makes it easier to do many of these things, certainly. Yusra.
Yes. So I would also I would like to add on. I support. I think it was you who said just providing more resources for students that we have not maybe talked about a lot during when we discuss access. Also, oh my God, why did my thought just leave me? Yep. No, it is like maybe visiting policies on, I don't know if this is for this committee, but our hiring like practices, and see how we can better take maybe student feedback and make sure that our teaching and staff is representative of our student and district. So maybe if there's any room for that, that would be nice to visit again. But other than that, I think this committee has been really productive. And so I'm really happy about that.
We tried, didn't we? I think that's true. It's interesting what you bring on it's an interesting crossover of committees with the personnel committee and the policy committee as we go forward. You're right. I mean, we understanding the evaluation system and at all levels and making it more of what business level people call 360, and self-evaluations too. I mean, I think we're going to be doing some of that as a board. I think it's really, really important and all. So I think that's good. Well, I appreciate everyone being here. It's a beautiful day, and I think everyone should enjoy the day even more. And I guess you and I are it. So shall we adjourn?
Yes.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye,
everyone. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you, Greg.
Bye.